All right, welcome back to the farm and yet another project. So this is our new farm truck we just picked up this year. Well, new to us, obviously she's not new. This is our 1956 Dodge 2.5 ton flatbed. You can see this big beast. So we use this for hauling hay this year, and once we got about 120 bales on the back, we started having a problem with the fuel pump. The fuel pump diaphragm inside there went bad, and these old trucks, they had an old mechanical diaphragm. I could not find a fuel pump, so what I ended up having to do was wire up this temporary one, this Edelbrock electric one here, and just plumb it into the carburetor. So luckily I was able to do that enough to get it running and limp it back here to the house, get it in the shade so we can get all the hay off of it. But what I want to do now is actually want to take this carburetor off so I can order up a rebuild kit. But there's a couple different ones, so I need to get the manufacturer number off of it, and I really want to kind of get this thing all cleaned up. So we're going to pull the carburetor off, and if I get enough time, I'm actually going to pull the intake manifold off so I can kind of look at the upper part of this motor and really kind of check things out. So I'm going to go grab some sockets, and hopefully this thing will come off pretty quick and easy. Okay, now on the other side I got a couple little throttle linkages and, you know, something for the idle. So what I'm going to use, I'm just going to use one of these marks a lot here. These come in pretty handy when I'm working on these old rigs. I like to kind of mark exactly where everything was bolted back in. That way I can get it as close as it was before I start making adjustments once I get everything put back together. The first thing I'm going to do is make this old fuel bowl. I have to be careful with it because this is one of the old style glass ones. And we really want to try to keep this truck as original as possible as we go. Obviously certain things on this is kind of a rare truck we're just not going to be able to, but to our best of abilities we want to keep this as original as possible. So mark everything where it was, get this carburetor out, and then we'll take a look at what's going to get the intake out. And this is something I like to do on any of these rigs anytime I'm working on something for the first time. As you start pulling these bolts out, you start noticing, well, I got different lengths. So I've got shorter bolts and longer bolts. Get yourself a little piece of cardboard and just give yourself a reference. So I got carburetor and coil. Since I know I got carburetor and coil here, so that way I can put these bolts in place as I'm taking them off. So when they go back in, I can put them right back in place. And since we're going to have all these out, obviously we're going to try to repaint everything, clean these all up, so when everything goes back in, it looks nice and new. So just a little something that I like to do when I'm working on a truck for the first time, you know, really kind of label things, especially if we're going to be cleaning them and putting them back in. So let's continue on. All right, I think they got everything. Let's give her a little tap. Oh, there she goes. All right, you got the carburetor and intake out. All I did was just kind of shove some little rags and paper towels, keep anything from going down to the motor from here. And I'm not going to take it down any further until I start finding some parts. You know, I want to take this upper cover off, do an inspection underneath. A couple of these little coolant jackets that are down in here, pretty gummed up, so not really giving me a good warm fuzzy about what the rest of the motor is going to look like. But I mean, this truck's sat for many, many years, so we'll just have to kind of go through it. But I'm going to get the intake, the carburetor redone, and then if I can find parts for the rest of this stuff, I'm going to keep tearing down on this thing and try to tear the whole top of this motor up and really kind of give it a good once over. So let's go and see if we can get some stuff cleaned up and get some part numbers. All right, so now I got everything laid out that I'm going to take to do some cleaning and kind of get everything rebuilt. I was able to find a carburetor rebuild kit, and I was also able to find an engine gasket kit, but it's going to take about 4 weeks to get everything here. So that gives me enough time to clean the bolts, rebuild this carburetor. So I'm going to tear the whole carburetor down, run it through the parts cleaner, get it nice and clean. I'm going to clean up this fuel filter housing. And then the intake, I'm actually going to sandblast the whole outside of it down. I'll pull the coolant temp sensor and the coolant flow meter over there. I'll pull those out and just really get this thing nice and clean. And then I'm going to try to find this original Dodge blue paint, and then I'll have my wife repaint everything. So every time we work on something, I want to add new paint to it so everything just looks nice and clean, and then I can keep up with the oil leaks. So here's what it looks like before. Once I get this stuff all cleaned up, get everything all rebuilt, we'll get an after video. All right, so since I was able to find an engine gasket kit for this, which I'm really excited about, I'm going to continue going and tearing the whole upper part of this motor apart. And since I'm in there, I'm going to go ahead and do a compression test just to kind of really see how the overall performance of this motor is going to hold up. Hopefully I don't have to pull it, so I'm hoping things come out good, but I guess we'll just have to see. So once we get this running though, we're gonna get in the shop. Now we're gonna start looking at brakes, we're gonna look at the rear end, we're gonna check the transmission, drain the fluid, kind of look at the internals on that, because we really want this to be a good, reliable truck, because not only do we want to use it around the farm, eventually we'd really like to be able to take it to some of the antique farm truck shows that they have up here in the area, because it's kind of a rare beast that we just love the look of it, and hopefully we can share it with some other people and they'll enjoy it and bring back some memories from some of the old timers when this rig was new. Well, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. If you got any questions, throw them in that comment section. I'll do what I can to answer them for you. If you want to see me continue on working on this beast, hit that subscribe button. Thanks for watching. I hope to see you around.